Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for June 11th, 2025. Hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. Kevin, how the hell have you been over the last week?
I've been pretty good. Saw a lot of more movies than I thought I would. Had a fun time watching the same movie over Xbox, which we'll talk about. Always a good time doing that. I have one more week left where I'm at, and then I'll be back on my old setup.
There you go. He'll be back. He'll have better internet, and the state's gone to shit without him here. So, but as for me, it has been last week was incredibly nerve wracking, just because of waiting for obviously something to come, and of course, I am an uncle now, so that is the big piece of news. I don't think my brother and my sister-in-law would like me sharing a picture of the baby, so I'm not going to do that. But she is very cute, and I will definitely have fun getting to watch movies with her as she grows old. So, but let's go ahead and jump into the news stories this week. And up first is that Warner Brothers Discovery is splitting into two companies again. After 2 years of being Warner Brothers Discovery, it is now splitting up. One company will be streaming and studios, which will be what they call the prestige stuff. So HBO Max, Warner Brothers Motion Pictures, Warner Brothers Television, DC Studios, and HBO, all helmed by the current CEO, David Zaslav. And then they will split into a separate company for its global networks, including basically everything else. Their cable channels like TNT, TBS, HGTV, and Food Network, CNN, Sports Networks, Discovery Plus, and Bleacher Report, among other things. This will be led by the current CFO of the company, Gunnar Wiedenfels. So,
I have a question, Garrett.
Sure.
If TNT is owned by Warner Brothers, how does Max get TNT on their platform?
That's why, because they own it. So anything that TNT does, they can put on their network. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's why you see CNN Live on HBO Max, or like Discovery Channel shows, Food Network stuff. It's all on HBO Max because Warner Brothers and their parent company own it. So that won't change. You'll still be able to see those things, but they'll still be around. So
gotcha.
It's just continued shitty leadership from David Zaslav. So it is what it is.
You know what? Yeah. Next up, though, Nintendo has delayed its live-action Legend of Zelda movie to May 7th, 2027, citing production reasons. And so it's just been delayed 1 month. And I mean, I'm okay with it. I was not I don't want to say looking forward to it, but I'm very weary about this movie.
Yeah, and I think that the way that they described it, and it was a spokesman for Nintendo said that it was the production reason. They want to make sure they just need that extra month to make sure the film is as good as it could be, which sounds exactly like a video game delay and not a movie delay, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Next up here, I'm really excited about this because I love her as an actress. Mia Goth will be playing the villain opposite Ryan Gosling in the upcoming Star Wars Starfighter film. This is the role that originally Mikey Madison was up in negotiations for, but it has gone to Mia Goth, and I'm all here for it. I think that Mia Goth is a wonderful up-and-coming actress, and I think that she has proven that she can do like indie stuff and horror with like Pearl and X and Maxine, but then also can do the bigger franchise stuff. And it's very clear I think she's still a part of Blade with Marvel, and so she's just trying to get out there. So I mean, good for her.
I wonder what the script is going to be or the story is going to be about, because Starfighter I feel like is going to have like dog fights like that. That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, still no idea what the actual story is, and knowing Star Wars, they're not going to tell us until it's time.
Yeah, so exactly. But next up, Peter, is it Sohn?
Sohn
will direct Incredibles 3, taking over from Brad Bird, who remains on board as writer and producer. So he's just not directing it. That's okay. I mean, he waited a long time for Incredibles 2, so hopefully it doesn't take as long this time.
Yeah, Peter Sohn is the director of Elemental and The Good Dinosaur. So
Okay.
has done work with Pixar. And yeah, I mean, if Brad Bird wants to take a step aside and kind of continue working on the creative side and getting it made, then that makes me feel like they have a lot of faith in Peter. So.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, next up here, just as the new movie's about to come out, How to Train Your Dragon director Dean DeBlois, or DeBlois, I don't know how you pronounce it, wants Kate Blanchett to reprise her role in the upcoming sequel. And that'd be great because Gerard Butler is reprising his role, so it would be great for his wife character to also reprise her role. I don't see her saying no. I think I think she would absolutely love to do it, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
That's for another question for another day.
Who did Kate play?
She played Hiccup's mother in the second one. She
Okay.
went off to the Dragon Lands or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would love to see her back in the role, 100%.
That would be cool. Yeah. Next up, a biopic for Snoop Dogg is coming from Universal. I mean, they killed it with Straight Outta Compton. Did they make that one? I feel like they did. Yeah,
I believe they did. Yeah, let me double check.
But they killed it with that one. I really like that. Like kind of biopic documentary kind of thing, movie. So I really enjoyed that, and I think they can do a lot more with Snoop Dogg and just focus on him because he was in the movie, but he wasn't a big part of it, which was okay because it wasn't about him.
Yeah, so they did do Straight Outta Compton.
They do All Eyes on Me.
I believe they did. I'm just double checking. We have star Jonathan Davis is set to lead the role. Craig Brewer is the director. Let me see what Craig Brewer has done. I think he did All Eyes on Me. Let me double check. Craig Brewer, director. No, he did Footloose recently. He did Hustle and Flow. Black Snake Moan, Coming to America 2, Dolomite Is My Name. So he's done quite a few smaller productions. This will probably be one of his bigger and more popular films for sure.
Gotcha.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the whole, I guess Universal signed a deal with Snoop Dogg's company, Death Row Records. And so this is one of the things that's coming out of that. And Snoop Dogg will be a producer on this. So don't know if it'll be, unbiased, but, he's a cool guy. I'll take it. Yeah. In some sad news, we'll see what ends up happening with this. Jared Leto is now facing sexual misconduct allegations, some of these coming from minors. Obviously, worth it to note, especially in this age of the internet, it is innocent until proven guilty. So, we have to take everything said with a grain of salt. He has denied these allegations. The only reason I bring this up, we're not a gossip show, we're not a celebrity show, but this could impact movies that he is in coming out. Things like Tron Ares now might get a delay or even a cancel, which I sincerely hope not. But then that film will then, if anything, if they don't squash this real quick, one way or another, that film is going to suffer. So yeah, that's what really sucks. I'm really looking forward to that movie, and now it might be up in question. So yeah, unfortunately, only reason to bring it up.
Yeah. But next up, Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise rights are facing a bidding war. Some of the people who are bidding are Yellowstone's Taylor Sheridan, Longlegs director Oz Perkins, A24, and Jordan Peele. I mean, aside from Yellowstone's Taylor, because I don't know what other things they have done, but any of the other ones, I'm perfectly okay with.
I mean, honestly, I'm fine with any of these people. I think that Taylor Sheridan has really become synonymous with dad shows in movies. Okay. He did direct Those Who Wish Me Dead a couple years ago, and Wind River, which were highly regarded, but he's more well known as a writer. He did write both Sicario films, as well
Oh,
as the
okay.
Oscar-nominated Hell or High Water. And he's done Yellowstone, things like that. So I think he is a good choice. He would definitely provide a little bit more of a dramatic thing to it, and especially would really go the Texas angle, right? The living in Texas type thing. I would rather see this in the hands of Oz Perkins 100%, which means that Neon was probably going to be behind his bidding on this. A24, obviously anything A24 makes at least has a high degree of quality to it, even if the film may not be that good. And then obviously it's Jordan Peele's production company that's looking into this, and I think that after losing Weapons recently, and another horror film, and firing his staff, I think they're going to be doing anything they can to make him happy. But yeah, these are all great people to be bidding on this, all people that I would want to see involved. And I know that Glenn Powell has stated he wants to be in whatever iteration is next, even if it's not like a good movie. It's like Scarlett Johansson wanting to be in Jurassic World, even if she's eaten. Like, just let him be there.
Just to be in the movie.
Oh, 100%, because I guess it's one of his favorites. So I'm not going to argue with, because it's one of the best horror movies ever. The first one is. The sequels are all a bit trash. Next, pretty exciting stuff for those of you who are excited about it. The Devil Wears Prada 2 will start filming this July, according to Emily Blunt. I had the pleasure of watching this for the first time a couple months ago, and it is not just a chick flick. It is not just, like a kind of movie. It is genuinely a funny movie with good performances. So I don't know what they're going to do for a sequel, but we'll find out real quick.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But next up, Jason Blum says that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will be scarier. Okay.
Thankfully. Hopefully. Because the first movie is not scary. And that was the biggest problem with it. For me, at least.
I mean, it could have been so much more creepier. It
should have been creepier. The Five Nights at Freddy's games are jump scare heaven. So why was there none of that, like, in that movie? It was just a kids movie. Really, it just felt like a kids movie. And I think that's really the problem with the whole franchise right now. But
okay,
but it is what it is. Hopefully, it's scary. Right off the heels of Ballerina, Chad Stahelski has confirmed that John Wick 5 is still being written currently by the writer who did John Wick 4, and he's working alongside Chad Stahelski. Once they have a 50-page kind of idea Bible, essentially, they'll present it to Keanu Reeves, and they'll then be able to shape the movie into what they want it to be. But they do say that they have a very good idea in mind right now. So
very, very cool. I mean, we'll talk about it later with Ballerina, but I can't wait to see more John Wick and see where they go with this character. Yeah,
hopefully it expands the world even more. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yep, we will. But next up, the Fantastic Four First Steps has the highest pre-sale tickets of the year. It's probably one of the most anticipated movies, some would say, of the year. So I don't see that how this is a very not how it's a big surprise, but I don't see this as being a big surprise because of how good these movies are going to be. This movie is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this. I do think, based on some projections, I think that Superman is also vying for this title as tickets went on sale, and it's also doing very good. So we may see who becomes the highest one, but as of right now, Fantastic Four is. We're super excited for this movie. I've been waiting for a good Fantastic Four movie for forever. So
you don't like Fan Four Stick? Come on now.
No, I don't. I used to like the 2005 one when that first came out. I remember seeing that in theaters with my mom. We enjoyed it, but then looking back on it now, I'm just like, oh no.
It's that the one with Evans in it?
Yeah, with Chris Evans.
Yeah.
All right, last up here. This just came in literally like an hour or two before we started. But Robert Eggers, director of Nosferatu and The Lighthouse, is set to write and direct a retelling of A Christmas Carol. And apparently Willem Dafoe is favored to star as Ebenezer Scrooge. Knowing Robert Eggers' whole thing where he only likes to make period piece films, that's perfect for him. It's also very different for him, depending on how he goes about it. I think that he'll nail the ghost story horror aspects of the story.
Mhm.
But we have not seen a positive film from him, so who knows? Maybe they'll downplay the Christmas part of it, and then up the horror part. Who knows? But
That,
I love this
that
director, so
that's what I'm hoping. It leans more towards like the supernatural side of this story, because I can see it when, especially coming off of Nosferatu with him, I
yeah,
can really see him playing into that horror aspect of it.
yeah. And then we'll see how Werewolf is next year, which I think starts filming at the end of the year. So. But all right, that's it for the news stories this week. Some fun stuff, some not so fun stuff, but that is
Yep.
okay. Finally, Warner Brothers Discovery is set to disappear. Not disappear, it's going to change slightly. They're still
They
owned by the
just got a
same
divorce. That's
Yeah,
all it is.
2 Christmases. I almost feel like you have to be careful with John Wick. At what point does it become almost a parody, like John Wick 13 in space? I think that's the point. I think there was a lot of hesitation to do a 5 because of the finality of 4, but there are ways that you can do it, and I think that like with Ballerina, I think that the future after 5 is going to be spin-offs and showing more of the world, and I think that's what's going to be key going forward.
I would like to see maybe not a younger John Wick movie too, of how he got into his situations and everything as maybe a teenager or something would be, I think, really fascinating.
The only problem with that is who do you cast? And I don't think anyone is going to be able to live up to Keanu's performance. So,
yeah, that's true.
So who knows? Maybe I'd rather see like maybe a movie about like Charon, who was the hotel concierge.
Oh yeah,
Maybe him when he's younger, how he met with Winston. I guess that was in the Continental TV show, which I haven't seen because I don't really watch TV shows. But yeah, who knows? There's a lot of stuff that they could do. How's the Ruska Roma start? Or
especially expanding on the world that because of Ballerina too. I have so many more questions about it. So
I would like to see how the world, like maybe even like way earlier in time, like show us events like World War II or Vietnam when there's this kind of world exists. Is there even war in a world like this? So I don't know. There's a lot of interesting places they could go in a spin-off, but you're right. With John Wick, they got to be careful.
Yeah.
Alrighty, but let's go ahead and get into the trailers that came out this week. We had quite a few good ones that came out. Anything stand out to you, Kevin?
I mean, always it's Superman. I mean, I didn't watch it, but I just know I'm gonna enjoy it. So, and I don't want to be spoiled on anything, but
sure,
I would say Superman. Freakier Friday looks okay. It doesn't look as good as the first one, unfortunately.
But it does feel like a logical next movie.
Yes, it does feel like it's in, like it's the next. Well, yeah, like the next.
It's in keeping with the original. Yeah.
Exactly. But everything else, not too much, unfortunately.
Gotcha. For me, it's Eddington. I think that trailer was really good. We'll see if it's any good. It was really hit or miss at the Cannes Film Festival when it premiered. But The Man in My Basement looks interesting, but it's a straight to Hulu movie, so I don't have a lot of faith in it. But Willem Dafoe is in it, so that makes me feel better. And then I will say Abraham's Boys, a Dracula story, does look interesting at least. It has to do with a descendant of Van Helsing that moves to the Wild West, and Dracula follows him home, which I think is a potentially interesting way to do a story or a continuation. So, but that's it for the trailers. Let's go ahead, Kevin, take us to the box office.
Yeah, box office. Lilo and Stitch, no surprise here, coming in at 31.4 million. But I am surprised Ballerina with 24.5 million, almost catching up to Lilo and Stitch at number 2. Number 3, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning at 14.8 million. Karate Kid Legends with 8.6 million, and Final Destination Bloodlines still hanging in there with 6.4 million. I didn't think Ballerina would get that close to Lilo and Stitch.
Well, I think that I mean, I don't know, man. When I went and saw Ballerina, my theater was pretty full, so it might just be a lot of day one stuff. It's hit 55 million worldwide. By no means is that a bad number. I just think that if Lilo and Stitch wasn't out, I think it probably could have had a little bit better weekend. Also, Mission Impossible being out doesn't help it either. So it's like kind of like, which action movie do we see? In Ballerina, like there's not like, unless you know it's part of John Wick, it doesn't really speak John Wick. So that could be the other issue as well. But excuse me, I don't know why I'm having hiccups right now. But I mean, it did all right, which I think is fine. But I will say, man, my theater. There's another movie I saw this week that my theater was crowded. Actually, I sat a seat away from a person, which was, I feel like I never actually do. So, and that movie's not even in the top 5. But that's going to be it for the box office.
I'll be right back. I just have to turn on the light because it's getting dark.
And Kevin will be right back. Let's go ahead and talk about the movies that are coming out this weekend. And up first is How to Train Your Dragon. As an ancient threat endangers both Vikings and dragons alike in the Isle of Berk, the friendship between Hiccup, an inventive Viking, and Toothless, a Night Fury dragon, becomes the key to both species forging a new future together. This is obviously a remake of the original animated film being brought into live action. Disney's not the only one that does it anymore, so that's at least somewhat good. But the critic reviews seem to be somewhat like it's around the 60 kind of space, but it's got an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb right now, which is pretty high, all things considered.
What other remakes has Universal made?
Besides like the Grinch That Stole Christmas. Well, you're talking about DreamWorks. I don't know about DreamWorks. They haven't done a live action yet, but
this is
Universal redid Grinch. All right, second up is Materialists. A young, ambitious New York City matchmaker finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex. This one is big. It's got a big 3-way cast starring Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. It's also directed by Celine Song, who is, of course, the Oscar-nominated writer of Past Lives, which was a Best Picture nominee 2 years ago. So, don't know if this one will get any Oscar nominations, but, it is from the same director. Up third is The Unholy Trinity. Buried secrets of an 1870s Montana town spark violence when a young man returns to reclaim his legacy and is caught between a sheriff determined to maintain order and a mysterious stranger hell-bent on destroying it. This is a new Western starring Pierce Brosnan and Samuel L. Jackson. So if you're interested, go and check it out. And lastly, we have Echo Valley, which is debuting on Apple TV Plus this weekend. Kate is dealing with a personal tragedy while owning and training horses in Echo Valley, an isolated and picturesque place when her daughter Claire arrives at her doorstep, frightened, trembling, and covered in someone else's blood. This does come to us from a director I've never heard of, but it stars Julianne Moore, Sydney Sweeney, and Domhnall Gleeson. So, pretty stacked cast. Also, Kyle MacLachlan is in the film, so I love seeing me some Kyle MacLachlan. But that's it for this weekend. If anything stands out to you, go and see it.
Or anything from last weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about, Fox Mixer. I'm sorry. All right. Let's go ahead, and that is going to be the end of the scheduled part of the show. Let's go ahead and get into the movies we watched this weekend. Now, I and Kevin, we both shared 2 movies. So I think that we'll do the movies that we didn't watch together, or the movies that we didn't both watch first. Then we'll do the ones that we both watched, and then we'll get into the wheel spin. How's that?
Well, you have one more that you watched before me.
Yeah. So we'll just get those out of the way here.
Okay, sounds good. Let's
so I'll do 3, and then I'll have you do your 2. Or no, 1.
Let's do.
Oh, he cut out. What do you say? 2-1-1? Is that what you were saying?
No.
Kevin,
or we can do 1. We can do 1-1-2-2. Leave the last 2 that we saw together.
That's what I was going to say. So I have 3 that I watched without you, and then you have 1.
Oh, okay. I have 1. Okay, that's fine.
So I'll do 2, you do 1, then I'll do 1.
Perfect.
All right, so up first for me, I watched Black Hawk Down this week, which is a great war movie. Still one of my favorites. It comes down to I think for me, what it comes down to is it shows something that not a lot of war movies do: America failing. And I think that is what is, one of the special parts about it, because a lot of our war movies, it shows us as being the tip top best of the best, and this is not it. And it's kind of noteworthy for being a film that is anti-war but pro-soldier, which I think is a good way to kind of do it. The cast is enormous. You have like Ewan McGregor, Tom Hardy, Orlando Bloom. What's his name? Eric Bana's in this movie. Like, there are so many people that you know now, and you're like, oh shit. It's kind of crazy. But like, no one is given more screen time than anyone else. There's no main star. Like there's maybe one main character by Josh Hartnett, but like, he's more of a mind. Like, no one really takes the center stage, and that's what's really nice. It's an incredibly well shot movie. It's incredibly tense, and you never feel safe, which is a good place to be in when you're doing a war movie. If there's anything I don't like, I think this is the first act. It's really slow, and it does take some time to get going. We spend a little bit too much time with all the soldiers in their base, just kind of hanging out, and like, it's cool to see who they are, but like, I don't really need, like, there's ways you could shorten that a little bit. But other than that, it's definitely a hard film to watch at points, because it's got some moments that are gory or particularly violent. Like, there's a part where a guy shoots an RPG and it goes through the car door into the chest of a guy and doesn't explode, so he's just got an RPG sticking out of his chest, which is pretty great. But that's it for Black Hawk Down. I'm going to try and keep these short because I know I go on a little bit. But Black Hawk Down's a really good one. Might be coming up in a video that's coming up soon. Who knows? Up next, surprising, one of the better movies of 2025 so far, Predator: Killer of Killers, which is the new animated anthology movie that released on Hulu or Disney Plus, regard whichever one you have. I'm like, Dan Trachtenberg is single-handedly saving Predator at this point. We just have to hope that Predator Badlands is anywhere near as good as Prey or Killer of Killers.
It looks so good.
Yeah. I hope that this movie inspires more anthology movies like this. I want to see a Killer of Killers 2 with different time periods and different warriors. I think that the concept here is really cool, and the storyline where it pushes where the franchise could be going in terms of other films in the series is something really special. So I really enjoyed seeing that. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's cool. I do think that there is one notable misstep in the movie, and I think the third story, which revolves around the World War II pilot, didn't really feel, it felt like kind of off compared to the other two. Like, there's a Viking, a samurai, and then the World War II pilot. One of these things is not like the other. And that's what's kind of like, he's not really a warrior, he's just a pilot. I mean, he is a soldier, but like, not in the same way that a samurai or a Viking are, talented hand-to-hand combat warriors or whatever. But it's still good, and the story is good. It just kind of sticks out. But the animation's gorgeous. There's clear inspirations from the live-action films. Each Predator looks different, which I'm totally a fan of. Not every Predator has to have the same exact look. But I think Trachtenberg is doing a fantastic job with the franchise. I'm excited for Badlands now, even more so than I was before. And if you have Disney Plus or Hulu, please check out Killer of Killers. It is really good.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
We'll do your movie.
Now to some people might find this disappointing, but 28 days later, I mean, I kind of wanted to watch it because of 28 years later, just to see actually what all the hype was about. And I think this movie is very overhyped. It struggles for me on the editing side of this. It has that 2000s editing, very flashy, fast, and a lot of cuts in it. And it's more about not the zombies or the rage. They call it the rage instead of zombies in this movie. And it's more about how people can be scarier than zombies, but then it goes straight back to zombies. so it doesn't it plays too much with two different situations, I feel like. And if it would have stuck to one of them and focused on it maybe a little bit more, I think I would have enjoyed the movie a little bit better. All the actors in this movie are I wouldn't say fantastic. They are good for their role. But no one stands out to me as being like, this guy is the best one in the movie. So they were all just mediocre to me, unfortunately. I did like the scenery in this movie, and the cinematography in this movie, but everything else kind of falls short. Barely any zombie stuff that's happening, and at the beginning it shows you what rage is, and then they just leave it from there. So, which I kind of didn't like. I want to see more about why they were creating it. So I gave it a 59. Yeah, 59 out of 100.
All right. Now, does that lessen your hype for 28 years later?
You know what? I tried to watch 28 Weeks Later. I didn't start it. I go, maybe I'll wait another week to watch that one. So yeah, it definitely did.
All right. All right. In my last movie, before we get into the two that we both watched, is The Phoenician Scheme, which is Wes Anderson's newest movie. And I have to say, I'm getting tired of the shtick. I don't know why he continues to ban his actors from using emotion or changing their facial features or facial expressions. But at least this movie is not as bad as I think Asteroid City really got on my nerves at some points. This movie is certainly a little bit better in that regard. But I also think it's his funniest movie since Fantastic Mr. Fox. The cast is impeccable in this movie, like the amount of people that are here. But a couple of actors feel underused, like Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch. They're all in this movie for like 5 minutes. Like, I don't know why they couldn't have been in it more. Obviously, well, the movie is focusing on three characters. Benicio del Toro is focusing on Mia Therapleton and Michael Cera, and all three of them are fantastic. I think that Benicio del Toro is great, but he's definitely overshadowed by Therapleton and Michael Cera. I think Michael Cera gives his career best performance here, which is saying something because I usually do not like him, but he was fantastic here. And Therapleton is hilarious from the beginning to the end. She is really a young talent that I'm interested in seeing where she goes with her career. I think there's a really weak link here, which is the story. They make this point that he is this guy who people want dead, but no one can really give a good storyline for why they want him dead, which is kind of frustrating. Like, they explained it a little bit. I don't remember what it was because they didn't make a point of it. It was just kind of like brushed to the side. But it's still a fun movie. I can't deny that I walked out of it with a smile on my face, even with how artsy it can get. But really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we can get Wes Anderson to make more animated films, but this one was good. All right. So now we got the two movies that we both watched.
Yes.
Which one should we do first?
I say we end on the good one. We'll talk about the bad one. Well, not
so why
bad.
don't you go ahead and introduce this movie and why we watched it?
Yeah, so what we kind of started doing was watching movies over Xbox, and I thought to be honest, couldn't really think of a movie, but I thought of this one. I said, hey, this might be a little bit fun. I knew what it was about and everything like that. Only Nadia knew what it was about too, because she's the one that showed me it. So I was like, hey, we should watch it. And it is See No Evil, and it has Kane, the WWE wrestler, in it, and it's a horror movie. I remembered liking it the first time around, and I think that made it a little bit better just because we had people in the call, because I think it always makes it better. But I think it's just a sit down, make fun of the movie, I feel like, and that's what we were doing. So I was really enjoying myself with that. And it's set in one place. The characters you don't really care for, and I like how Kane has like a little backstory to his character, and how there's a little twist in this movie as well.
All right. Well, that's Kevin's review of the movie he picked for our movie night. Yeah, I hated this movie. I mean, without a doubt, it's one of the worst edited films I think I've ever seen. Um, it really does, and a lot of people use this joke because it's so accurate. It looks like a Slipknot music video the entire time, which I love Slipknot and I love their music videos, but it like that shouldn't be a movie. I No actor in this is good. The scripts, the dialogue is just terrible. Like the directing is so bad that it makes me actively question liking film. It's really that bad. It was hilarious while watching with friends, but like that something that's outside the movie doesn't affect the movie itself. Like that movie exists without that interaction. So is it good or not by itself? And the answer is no. Kane is awful as the villain. I don't know why he's acting. I'm sure he barely was able to lead a city or state or whatever he did. He's just not that imposing. There's really no story given about him till the end. We just see flashbacks throughout the entire thing, which doesn't explain anything. There's another character, which I won't spoil, but their plan is stupid. Like, why this location, whatever. No character is likable in this movie. Even the characters that they try to make likable, I would say there's two characters they try to make likable, and they don't even give us enough time with them. They give us more time with the shitty people than they do with the good people. Nothing in this movie is good. We lost Kevin, but nothing in this movie is good. It has some points because it is one of those things where like it is so bad that you can have some fun with it, but it's really truly an appalling piece of film, and I feel worse for having watched it. So thanks for picking it, Kevin. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the good movie.
You're welcome.
Oh, there's a delay. There is a delay. Let's see if we can kind of get that to fix here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with my internet.
Well, it's that state you're in. It's not some of that good California fun. Anyhow, but let's go ahead and get to the movie that we both saw. I'll go ahead and have you go first here, Kevin.
Yeah, Ballerina. Very surprised about this movie. I mean, I knew I was going to like it going into it, but I didn't know I would like it this much, and I'm perfectly okay with me being surprised about it. I absolutely loved the town at the very end of this movie because of all of the white snow. It looks so pretty, and there's so much havoc that goes on, but it still looked magnificent every single time I looked at it. And then I really like the backstory of the ballerina herself and what happens with her and how the process goes with becoming, I don't know how to say the name. How do you say it?
Ruska Roma?
Yeah, a Ruska Roma. So, and then the tension between all of the what would you call them, like clans or tribes? She was calling them tribes, but
clan, tribe, group. I don't know.
But I would just love to see more of this world building in this movie because there's so many things that we could get out of this. I did get a little confused because the main villain in this movie looks like the guy from the oh gosh, I was gonna call it the Continental, the main guy from the Continental. So I got a little confused on that part, but I picked it up at the end. But the action in this movie is fantastic, and I love how they kind of threw in John Wick, but didn't give him a lot of a spotlight in this movie. It's supposed to be his movie. Technically, the movie was really good, and he's only in there for a little bit, which I think is the right choice. So I gave it an 86 out of 100.
Well, there you go. Likewise, I gave the film an 80. I thought it was a really fun film, and I think that it does live up to the franchise. I think that Ana de Armas has completely proven that she can do action-heavy films like this, as well as doing Oscar-nominated dramas. She's charismatic enough, and I think that what I liked about this film a lot is that they didn't just make her a female John Wick. She gets beat up a lot. They show her, fail and get things wrong. And I think that by leaving John Wick as this like superhero like figure and not just making a female John Wick, I think that that was a really strong way of showing that he is truly the best of the best. And like even some of the dialogue with the henchmen goons or whatever is hysterical later in the film. But I think that the action here is relentless. There's so much of it. The blood, the gore, the violence are all on another level. And I really like the idea of the villains. I think that the villains in this are such a unique concept for the John Wick films. They really feel different. Like what this kind of group means for the John Wick universe is something pretty special. We've completely lost Kevin. I don't know what's going on with his internet today. There he goes. Yeah, the writing is where I really have some issues here. The dialogue, because a lot more people speak in this movie than the other films, so I think that the dialogue does suffer a little bit. In addition, I don't think the villains are given enough reason for why they're doing what they're doing. Why are they interested in this girl? Yada, yada, yada. Overall, though, still a fun time, and it lives up to the franchise's high watermark. I think that Len Wiseman, this is his best movie, so I hope they can kind of keep him around for any kind of future films. So I thought he did a good job. So,
I agree.
But there we are. Those are all the movies we watched outside of the wheel spin. So let's go ahead and dive into the wheel spin stuff, and we'll see. Kevin, you're short this week. Oh, I think we lost.
I was
Kevin.
very disappointed. It was not.
Oh, there we go.
Am I not back?
You're here.
Okay. I was very disappointed that this was not about aliens, unfortunately. I know it's a kid's show, but you never know. No, this is a good little short to show to your kids about things just being the way they are, because sometimes it has to be that way, unfortunately. And sometimes good things come from bad situations, and that's what I took.
All right. Cool. Yeah, definitely having some internet problems today, Kevin. But
I don't know.
It's all good. It knows that you're almost done, and so it's just really screwing you over.
It's the tinfoil's falling off.
There you go. My short this week was An Ache in Every Steak from 1941. This is a Three Stooges short. I think it's the first one that I've had to watch for the stream. I will say this is not my favorite Stooges short. It's still pretty good, though. I think that the whole bit with the ice salesman is really fun, and there's a lot of room for some really fun and interesting gags with that. But then they go away from it, and they go a whole different direction with having them fill in as chefs at the end. I didn't like the inconsistency with its kind of story and its setup kind of threw me off a little bit, but it is relentlessly funny throughout because it's the Three Stooges, and who doesn't want to see guys beat each other up? So
exactly.
But Kevin, your movie this week?
Yeah, my movie this week, Megan is Missing. I was kind of I don't want to say I was looking forward to this movie because I looked at the trailer and saw some of the highlights of this movie, and it looked really good. Unfortunately, this is an hour and 20-minute movie, and you can cut an hour out of it and leave the 20 minutes as a horror short, and I think it would have been a much better version of this. It spends too much time with these kids, with these kids that we don't like. I didn't give two shits about, unfortunately. But as soon as it got to where they one of them gets kidnapped and then the other one gets kidnapped, and we get to see where he has them and what, that's when it starts to pick up. But that's the last 20 minutes of this movie. So And the kids up until that point are so annoying. They're your typical teenagers who don't listen to their parents and yell at each other and create unnecessary drama. But again, as I said at the beginning, if this was a short and they just did like kind of like a mockumentary style of this movie, I think it would have been a lot better and made it like a 30-minute movie instead of an hour and 20-minute movie.
Sure. All right. I'd heard some things about this movie, and I was kind of keen on watching it, but I think you've lowered my hype a little bit. But that's okay. Yeah. Alrighty.
Yeah, lower that hype a little bit.
Alrighty. Lastly is the film that I was selected to watch this week, which is The Rock from 1996. This movie is one of those movies that's so bad that it goes full circle to being great. This movie is so much stupid fun, even though it is a very stupid movie, and it's very poorly made. This is a movie that should have existed in the 80s. If it came out in the 80s, it probably would have been, Bruce Willis and Sean Connery doing this. But I think that this film did some trimming and some editing, but, I think it could have been a classic. The cast is huge in this movie. Obviously, you got Nicolas Cage, who is so over the top in this movie that it is hysterical. Like it borderlines on a bad performance, but he just eats it up. Sean Connery plays a badass who's too old to do anything that he's actually doing in the movie, which is kind of funny to watch. And Ed Harris is probably my favorite character in this movie, playing the villain, who is not as bad as we're led to believe he is, and has a point. He's a villain that you understand completely, which I really enjoyed. The story is so stupidly bonkers that it's a blast. It grabs you from the beginning and it doesn't let you go. I mean, obviously, the beginning is where I have the issues. This movie, it could have edited like 20 minutes out of its first act and it would have been much better. There's a whole car chase in the beginning with Nicolas Cage chasing Sean Connery, and it's awful, like pointless explosions and all that. And then there's like there's one of those shots where the camera goes like this as Nicolas Cage is like, there's like the American flag flying in the background, and it's just like it's the stupidest shit. This does not save Michael Bay from being a bad director. This movie is still poorly made, but it's so bonkers and it has so many great one-liners that I'm not going to deny that I enjoyed the movie. It's the closest Michael Bay has come to making a decent movie. Also 13 Hours is probably up there as well, but this one is just, man, it's so stupid that it's fun. This might be the movie, like if we do a movie night and it's my choice, this might be the one I pick. Because I feel like we'd have a great time watching this one. It's probably a little too long though, and it's not available to stream anywhere, so I had to rent it. But I think that it would be a great time. But that is it for all the movies we watched. So we had some comments here. I refused to watch See No Evil because of how hard the WWE was in pushing it. They were even doing something about May 19th, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. Ed Harris's character you felt bad for, as he had legit reasons to do what he did, but it got out of hand, 100%. Especially with the standoff with the other soldiers became a massacre. Yeah, it's a sad part of the movie because he's not a bad guy. He's just doing bad things for the He's doing bad things the wrong way, but for the right reasons. If that makes sense. So totally get it. Great antithesis to the good soldier character. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pull up the Wheel of Fate, which is where we do what, Kevin?
It's where we spin movies and we get movies to watch spin.
There you go. That was one way of putting it. But if you have anything you'd like to see on the list besides this big red, purple, red, blue line, go ahead and let us know. We'll go ahead in about 2 minutes for everyone to kind of get in stuff. We're at 305 things on here, so we're probably going to have to not take some suggestions for a while, but obviously, Kevin, Megan is Missing is technically a horror movie, I guess, or maybe a thriller, horror thriller. So what are you looking forward to this week?
I'm looking forward to maybe giving me. Let's see what you have up there.
Maybe
Ooh,
some Monsters Inc.
Well, I was gonna say some Armageddon, maybe.
Michael Bay movie. There you go.
It doesn't
No,
look
I'm gonna
too
do here.
bad.
I'm gonna put The Rock, Kevin. We're gonna put that on there. Let's see here. We got some more shorts from Joey. So let me go ahead and get these on here. We have Holy Smoke. Okay. I forgot to copy paste that. There we go. All right. We have Good Scouts, which is a short. We have The Flying Cat. Hopefully not. Last thing those fuckers need is to fly. Gonzalez's Tamales. All right. Backwoods Bunny. Listen Judge, which is a 3 Stooge. I'll put that there. All right. Thank you for the shorts. Got about 20 more seconds here. We'll give it. And then we'll spin it up. I don't know what I want. I got a crazy movie with The Rock. So, honestly.
So do you want it down a little bit?
Yeah, something stupid. Or would be a little too on the nose. But, all right. It's been 2 minutes. We're going to go ahead and spin. Kevin, let's get you a short.
I'm going to land on a short.
Ooh, he's calling it. Is he going to land on a short? Let's find out. And you actually, oh my God, you might. Oh no, one off. You were one off, but it's Dial P for something. Dial P for Pink. That sounds like a porno.
Is this a Pink Panther one?
I mean, maybe. Who knows? Might have to look it up on Letterboxd while I spin the wheel for myself. Let's go ahead and shuffle it up here. And we'll get my shorts. Dial P for Pink is Pink Panther. All right, that is not a movie, so my short is I believe that's a short that I've already seen. How something. All right, it's got how in it. How to hook up your home theater is mine. That's funny because I used to work in Best Buy's home theater department. For those of you who don't know.
Yep.
All right. I think it was going to be Walkie Talkie Hockey, which I've already seen. So cannot do that one. All righty. Kevin's movie is.
Yep.
Dial P for Pink. Yeah, I don't know where you'd watch that. Babyface from 1933. That is Kevin's film. Let's see here. What is that looking like? This is all right.
John Wayne.
It's got John Wayne in it. Also, Barbara Stanwyck. Nice. Very different movie. All right.
I'm down for it.
Ooh. Hey, gotta love old movies. So, alrighty. Let's go ahead and shuffle it up, and we'll get my film. Let's see. Do you have a movie in mind if it lands on Kevin's pick for me?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, and it looks like it might. Nah, it's a short. We'll respin.
I've been waiting to use. I have had this movie on my mind for you for like 2 months. I feel like
that's a short. I don't know why that's not. I don't know why that's not doing that. Porky's Pig Feet. All right. Shuffle. Third time's the charm.
Third time.
If I don't get it the third time, it will just default to being your pick.
Okay.
We'll say that. And that is not going to be the case, as we are I already watched The Jerk.
You've already seen The Jerk.
All right, let me remove that. And so it will be your pick, Kevin.
All right, you are going to be watching a Studio Ghibli movie called, I'm just making sure I get it right, Tales from Earthsea.
Ooh. Okay. All right. That's one of the few that I have not seen. So, There we go. All righty. So, Kevin will be watching the short film Dial P for Pink, which is not a porno. And then we'll also be watching the 1933 film Babyface. I'm jealous of this. I like old movies. I will be watching the short How to Hook Up Your Home Theater, which is a goofy short I just saw. And I will be watching the Studio Ghibli film Tales from Earthsea. So, which is widely considered to be one of the worst movies they've done. So that's going to be fun. We'll see.
Oh, really?
Maybe I like it. Maybe I don't. Who knows? I believe it's on HBO Max. Let me double check.
Yeah, it is. It just had a really cool big dragon in it, so that's why I picked it.
Let's see. Is this Hayao Miyazaki? No, Goro Miyazaki. Okay. As crops dwindle and dragons reappear, a wizard and a young prince search for the force behind the imbalance that threatens to destroy the land. All right. I'm down. I like dragons and I like wizards. So that's going to be it for this week. Hope you all had a great time. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. We do have our newest episode of Movie Club, which is going to come out on Friday. We're looking at the classic film Cool Hand Luke. So if you're interested in checking out what we thought of that video will be live on Friday morning, just as usual. We're getting close. We're only 2 away from episode 100. So, and episode 100 is going to be a special one. So, hope you're ready for that. But of course, that goes live 4 a.m. on Friday Pacific Standard Time. And of course, this show goes live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And until next time, make sure to keep your eyes on the screen. Bye, everyone.